welcome in, and it's more championship games coming up. We kick off against Portsmouth away. This goal was disallowed for offside, unfortunately. And disappointingly, away from home, we draw 0-0 with Portsmouth. Now, they are bottom at the moment, and they were picked by the media to finish bottom as well. So, we'd hope to get 3 points away from home against the worst team in the league, really. But, that is what it is. Playing to West Brom here, I almost missed that goal by making a substitution, as usual. Happens so often. So we've dropped to 7th now, just outside the playoffs, but 22 points, still fine. Away at Brighton here. Now, Brighton are one of the other teams that came down in the last season from the Premier League. And their team, again, Nicolas Pepe, look, if you wondered what happened to him, he is playing for Brighton in my save. A terrible back pass there, and that's going to set up a second. So, yeah, Brighton, they are one of the strongest teams in the division, I think. They absolutely hammered us in this game as well. They were one of the 3 teams that obviously came down, and they were the media favourites to win the division. I think they were the favourites, along with Leicester. It was close between the two of them. I can't quite remember. But their team, again, full of really good players. So it's always going to be tough, and we get one back here, but we lose 4-1. So not the greatest, but it's kind of to be expected, I would think, really. Derby got an early red card in this game, so at home we would expect to pick up the 3 points. That was a great free kick by Finn there, absolutely smashed it in. But there was no comeback for Derby as we make it 3-1 here with a great little cross by Palmer and a tap-in by Burkhardt, who has got his 6th goal of the season, so he's starting quite well. And, still 7th, just a point outside the playoffs, so still looking good. And here is I got a job offer from Brentford, Premier League Brentford. So that's the first decent job offer I've had. I think I had a couple of lower league offers before that, but that's the first decent one we've had. Now, our results have been a bit up and down, and I hadn't really noticed that one of our good players last year was Neto. As you remember, he scored 8 goals, 7 assists, a really good average rating. So I was happy for him to be a starter in the midfield this year. I thought, he can have a bigger role, really. But he was only on £1,500 a week. So at the beginning of the season, he said, I'm a better player now. I want more money. And firstly, I didn't have any more money to offer. But secondly, I don't want to sign him to a contract extension because I think he's already got 2 years left on his deal anyway. And, going forward, although he had a good season last year, he's not going to be part of our future going forward. So I don't like signing anybody to an extension unless I think they're young and have got the ability to help us go further down the line. So then he was upset, obviously, that he didn't get a new contract. And to my surprise, a number of because he's just in the hierarchical. I can't say the word. In the hierarchy of the club, he was just an other player. He wasn't a highly influential or even moderately an influential player. So I didn't think it really mattered. But a number of players have come out sticking up for him. So they're upset. He's obviously really upset. That's why he hasn't really been featuring much. He's playing in this game. He's not been having very good games. Hasn't really scored any goals. Great finish by Hoosney there. So, some of the games he's playing, he's looking superb. So Neto not been looking that good because he's got a red down arrow most of the time, and players don't really play well when they're not happy. That's why keeping players happy is really important. And the dressing room, if the dressing room starts to get unsettled, it can really affect the performance on the pitch, especially when you have a team like ours, which isn't miles better than the opposition. So if you're like Man City in the Premier League, then you're still going to hammer a lot of the teams because you're loads better than them. Whereas as is not, we rely on good team spirit and a good working tactic to overcome a lot of that. So Neto was unhappy. and about 4 or 5 of our main squad were supporting him. So I didn't want to give him a contract, obviously, so I'm not going to back down there. So I transfer listed him. He was still unhappy, and then he was unhappy with his playing time because I wasn't playing him because he was upset. Then he got even more support by players. So I've had some patchy results, I think, because a lot of the players have been unhappy. So after transfer listing him, I took him off the transfer list because there was no transfer window anyway, and nobody was interested in him because I'm trying to get him happy again. And now he just wanted, in his happiness profile, it just said he just wants to get his playing time, and he's down as a squad player, so he doesn't need to play that many games. And it was after this game against Preston that he actually finally said, I'm happy with the playing time I'm receiving. Coincidentally, he scored in this game as well. First goal of the season, as you just saw. It was after this game he's finally happy with the playing time, and it seems to have dropped for the moment his request for a contract. And because he's happy, the rest of the team seem to be happy now as well. A nice little tap in from Burkhart there. 3-1 against Preston, nice win. And like I say, Neto now happy, squad is happy. I'm hoping the results start to become a lot better now, because it's so important to have your squad all happy. I know that a lot of the time, a lot of players that play Football Manager like to be that rule with an iron fist kind of management, where if a player wants to leave or gets upset or wants a new contract, you say no, you just send him to reserves. You think, yeah, fuck you, mate. You can just rot in the reserves or whatever. But if they're influential and it affects the rest of the team's morale, it's really going to be a detriment to your team playing well. So keeping as many people happy as you can is really important. Now, you always have to try and manage people that want contracts. It's quite a lot of the time, if you look at the personality of players when you're signing them, I don't really like signing ambitious players because they always want new contracts. And I don't really like... But if their personality is like resolute, model professional, then if they come to you saying, I want a new contract, you say, what's the problem? Because you ask them when they look a bit upset. They say, well, thanks for coming to me. If you look at this game against Plymouth, we lost, but we had 2.4 XG and they had 0.87. Up to second in the league now, by the way. So yeah, you will come to them first, and they will say, as you've come to me first, I'm not going to make a big deal of it. I'll just carry on playing. So the personalities of your squad are really important. Obviously, when you inherit players, and also when you're signing players like I am, where I don't really have a massive pool of players to choose from. A lot of the players I've bought have been the best I can get, and it wasn't because I had a big list of players to get from. Everybody else had turned me down or gone somewhere else. So, but when you have more of a wide range of players to sign from, thinking about that sort of thing, like their personality, can be quite important when it comes to things like playing time and contracts. Because also when they're unhappy about the playing time, if you come to them first, they'll say, I'll drop it because you've come to me first. And quite often, if they're signed as a star player, they'll expect to start every single game, even when they're fatigued and knackered. So obviously you're not going to play them in that sort of sense. So they can go upset if they don't play every game in that sense. So, but as we look at ourselves, we're on a bit of a nice run here. We beat Preston, Blackburn. Really unlucky to lose that game against Plymouth. They only had a couple of chances and put them away, and we just failed to put any chances away. One of those games. Neto scoring again here, looking a lot happier, as I said. Then we just beat Luton, Reading, and then Coventry. So good little run here. Now, this is our third round tie against Swansea in the FA Cup, a home tie. I think Swansea are in League One at the moment. They have a man sent off as well. A bit harsh to have a man sent off and a penalty in that situation because it wasn't a last man sort of situation. Take the lead 1-0. And you don't see this very often. We have an attacking corner here, and they hit us on the break. Down to 10 men. Just a ball over the top, and a great finish, to be fair, by Morgan Whittaker. But 1-1, and against 10 men and a team in a league below, I'd expect to hammer them, but it needed Ledson to put a great free kick in the 89th minute to get us through. So that's the end of this episode. As you can see, we're doing okay in the league, through to the fourth round of the FA Cup. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, bye.